Welcome back to God is Alive. My name is Serena, and here I speak all about what it truly means to have a personal relationship with God. We have faith every day that we'll wake up tomorrow, so I want to start a fire in your heart to stop chasing the temporary things of this world and to put that same faith in God. So let's learn about God and learn to lean on God, because what's the worst that could happen? Welcome back to God is Alive. My name is Serena, and today I'm speaking about why do people fall away from God. Today I'm just going to be talking about the different responses to God and His Word, and I'm going to be using the parable of the sower to explain it. I don't know, maybe you've been there. Maybe you've been there where like one day you're on fire for God, and then one day you're drifting. And it's not always because you want to, but there's a reason why this happens. Some people hear the word of God and they're like, oh my goodness, and it changes their life and they go full throttle for it. Sometimes people hear it and they're like, I want nothing to do with that. Sometimes people hear it and they're like, wow, that sounds amazing, and they start getting into it, and then they're like, actually, no, it's not for me. And Jesus talks about this and He explains it perfectly. So I'm just going to talk about what He says. So I'm going to be using Matthew chapter 13, verses 1 through 23. So it says in verse 19, when anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what has been sown in his heart. That's Matthew chapter 13, verse 19. So what's happening here is for this person who hears the word, who hears about God, does not understand it fully, is too full of doubt, is maybe bitter, maybe they're distracted, maybe they're just plain disinterested, maybe other things that they've heard is coming in to their head and they're like, no. And ultimately their heart is unreceptive. For people that have an unreceptive heart, Jesus says it perfectly. They do not understand it. For if they did, they wouldn't have fallen away so quickly. Now would they? And there's many reasons why someone may not want to understand it, but that's okay. Ultimately, the decision belongs to each one of us to want to understand it or to not want to understand it. The next type is, it says in verse 21, he has no root in himself, but endures for a while. And when tribulation or persecution arises on account of the word, immediately he falls away. So this is referring to the people that hear about God, hear about Jesus, maybe even start going to church, maybe even start reading the word, start praying, but there's no foundation. So when life gets hard, and life is hard, their faith in God gets choked out. Through pressure, through rejection, through fear, through doubt, and it doesn't continue to grow into something beautiful, into a tree that bears a lot of fruit. It gets snuffed out. It's hard to continue to have faith when life is hard. It's easy to give up. It's easy to go, you know what? This clearly wasn't for me. Bye-bye. And then you've got the third type of heart in a person. Matthew chapter 13, verse 22, it says, the cares of the world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and it proves unfruitful. This is what I would call a distracted heart. The last one that we talked about, that's a person that has no foundation. Those people fall away when life gets hard. But this third type of people, they're just distracted. They place their focus not on God, but on other things, on things of this world. And instead of trying to chase God, they chase the world. Instead of trying to chase God, they're chasing money, they're chasing people, they're chasing things, chasing acceptance. And this kind of heart, this kind of distracted heart that's focused on this world, isn't going to be able to truly follow God and follow Jesus if we're focused so much on money, on status and relationships and worries, because all of these things, it strangles spiritual growth. It's like this is the kind of person that gets overtaken by by things that seem bigger in the moment. God is not standing outside your door going, when are you going to spend time with me? When are you going to read my word? When are you going to care about me? He sits quiet. Well, the world is so loud around us. It's easy to get distracted. Very easy. And then you've got the fourth type of people. It says in verse 23, He indeed bears fruit and yields, in one case 100-fold, and another 60, and another 30. So what this means is, this is the person where when they hear the word, it sinks in. It sinks in deep. It survives the struggles and the hardships of this life. When distractions come, they remain focused on God. When temptation comes, they may stumble, they may falter, but they're going to choose to continue to grow towards that sunlight, you know what I'm saying? And if they don't understand something, they're going to choose to try to understand it. Try to grow their knowledge, grow their wisdom. Because what is wisdom? It's applied knowledge. And in this parable, he's talking about a seed that falls on the different types of ground. And this seed, which is hearing about God and hearing about Jesus, it can grow in different ways. And the only one that's truly going to grow into a tree that eventually produces fruit, because how long does it take for a tree to start actually producing fruit? A long time. It has to survive those harsh winters. It has to survive those distractions. It has to survive all of these pressures. Not all the trees are going to get to the point where they're producing fruit, if you get what I'm trying to say. We learn in the book of Galatians, chapter 5, that when we are a believer, we start off as like a little seed, and then we kind of grow into a little tree that grows into a bigger tree, and the goal is that we start to produce spiritual fruit. Joy, peace, love, patience, forbearance, self-control. I think there's another one. Sorry, I don't have it memorized. Anyway. And so the goal isn't to judge other people's soil. Well, what kind of seed are you? What kind of tree are you? Well, I'm a bigger tree than you are. No. The goal is, when you read this parable, is to examine what kind of tree you are. Not to start comparing what kind of tree this person is versus what kind of tree you are, because the Bible also says that comparison is the thief of joy. The second you start comparing your tree versus to their tree, or what you have to what they have, all of a sudden you're not so happy anymore, because someone is going to have a bigger, better tree than you. And that's just how it always goes. So comparison is the thief of joy. Stay away from it. And ask yourself, am I a tree that's producing fruit? Do I want to be a tree that's producing fruit? Am I shallow? Am I distracted? Do I need to grow my knowledge? And let God break up that hardened heart. Break up that hard ground. Dig deeper into those rocky places. Grow your roots. Because I don't know if you know, but a tree has to grow its roots before it truly starts to kind of grow on top, for where we can see it visibly. And it's a process. It's not our job to make ourselves grow. If we're sitting around watching a tree grow, we're not going to see it grow. If we're sitting around waiting for a tree to grow, it's just going to look like it's standing there. I don't know. But my point is, as we spend time with God, as we water the tree, nurture the tree, protect it, protect your tree, you will grow. And before you know it, you'll look back and you'll be like, man, I'm producing fruit. I don't even know how. I just, protected my tree. And you're the tree. If I haven't made that clear, you're the tree. It takes time. It's hard. But that's the goal. To be a tree, producing much fruit. What does it say? 60, 30, or even 100-fold. What that basically means is, the goal is to be producing spiritual fruit in our life. If not, if we're following God and we say that we believe in God, and yet we're not feeling joy, we're not feeling peace, we don't have self-control, what's the point? It's like we're just waiting on his eternal reward instead of reaping the benefits now, today. So that's the goal, really, is to become a great big tree producing a bunch of fruit. And I really hope I made sense on this podcast. I feel like this one was kind of all over the place because I didn't write up my notes very well. But I hope it made sense, and I hope you got something from it. If you have any questions, let me know down below. And today's song of the day is Goodness of God. Oh, Praise the Name by Mass Anthem. This is a very heartfelt worship song. Okay, this song is all about like how God's love is always running after us. It says in the song, your goodness is running after me. All my life you've been so thankful. So with every breath and I am able, I will sing the goodness of God. And thank you so much for tuning in to the very end of today's podcast. You have no idea how much it means to me. I love you so dearly, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And I cannot wait to talk to you again next time.